Hey friends, we often say here at Christchurch London that everything matters to God. And that includes, of course, the war that has just started in the Ukraine. It can be really hard to know how to respond to an event like that. And I want to encourage us and remind us that the first thing the Church of God should do is that we should pray. We know that God hears our prayers. We know that he answers prayers. And therefore, the single greatest contribution that we can make at a moment like this is to pray. Joe Wells is going to be starting a morning prayer time on Zoom, 7 o'clock each morning, just for 15 minutes for the duration of Lent. It'll start this coming Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. You're most welcome. We'd love it if you can join her. No need to put your screens on if you don't want to. But an opportunity to pray, to ask for God's blessing, to bring our concerns and our anxieties to him about the Ukraine and no doubt many other things as well. There's also a liturgy in this email that accompanies this video. Why don't you use it in order to pray? And let me give you just a few other pointers for our personal prayers at this point in time. And the first is maybe self-evidently, but let's pray for peace. Let's pray that the hostilities cease quickly. Jesus was very clear. He said that the peacemakers are blessed, and we should pray for peacemakers, men and women who come up with creative and credible solutions that can cease the bloodshed and bring things to peace. Let's pray for that. Let's pray for protection for the Ukrainian people. Let's pray that loss of life is minimized, but that also as a whole nation, that God would protect them and keep them from the mental trauma, from the anxiety, from all the things and all the damage that accompanies war. Let's pray that God would keep them and protect them. We should pray too for justice. We should pray for Ukrainian leaders, that he would give them, that God would give them wisdom and unity at this point in time, and for world leaders, that he would give them insight and discernment, that they may know how to respond in unity together. And encourage us, along with that, to pray for the church in the Ukraine. It's at times like this where we have such amazing opportunities to serve and to minister, whether it is as the church institutional on the big scale, or whether it's simply individuals, the opportunity to love our neighbour, serve our neighbour, care for our neighbour in need. Let's pray for the church and pray that in the midst of all the brokenheartedness and all the terribleness of this situation, that Jesus is lifted up. And I want to encourage us to pray for refugees. Many of us have seen on our screens hundreds of thousands of people on the move. Let's pray for the nations that they go to. Let's pray for the leaders that they will lead their people in a generous and hospitable approach. And let's pray for the church in each of those nations too, that we would play our part to love the stranger, to welcome them into our homes, to share what we have with those in need. It may be too that some of us are personally affected in different ways by this situation. And I want to remind you that not only should we be praying for the situation in the Ukraine, but we should be receiving prayer ourselves. The pastoral team in each of our services are on hand and they're available. And if you need them, do reach out to them at this point in time. That's what they're here for, that we can stand together as one at a time like this. Let's give ourselves to prayer and let's trust God, who is the great God, who is loving and caring and with us even at moments like this.